Good morning and welcome to Kris Kreations. This is my very first video, so forgive me if I have any little blips or blops. Anything that I show today, I will put in the comments and you will be able to order everything that I'm showing today. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to make this adorable card. This is from our Tickled Pink set, which is part of a balloon box. If you're not familiar with the balloon box, check out my website at krisstamp.com. I will put that in the comments as well. You'll be able to find out all about the subscription to Balloon Box, but this is the Tickled Pink stamp set that came in. It's missing the flamingo right now because I have that on my block, and it's got a little saying that says Tickled Pink. And here's what I'm talking about when I talk about a balloon box. It is a subscription that comes right to your mailbox every month. This was the one for this Tickled Pink stamp set. It comes with a beautiful instruction booklet all laid out for you so you can see how to make cards. Comes with 4 samples and they're all wrapped up here for you. All you need is a few pieces of ink, some adhesives, scissors, and you're all ready to go. It's pre-cut for you, including the ribbons, the dust that you might need. Everything's die cut for you. It's a wonderful way to get started with stamping. The best part is you get an exclusive stamp set that is not available in the new catalog until 2 to 3 months after its release. So you can be the envy of the neighborhood and have the stamp set already. This one's from about 4 months ago. It's available in the catalog as of now. The number for this one is SS0265. And it's a cute set of stamps that you can use. Oops, sorry, I'm upside down. And then also what comes with it, which is I think is the coolest part, is the die cuts, including the one for the flamingo, which we're going to use today to cut out this little flamingo for this beautiful card we're going to make. All right, so let's get started. The different products that I used were some die cuts with my die cutting machine. I used the Fun Stampers Journey Platinum. I also have the Fun Journey Stampers Amaze machine. And what's really cool about those 2 machines is this month you can get $50 off the starter kits that include those. So if you want to become a Fun Stampers Journey coach like me, all you have to do is go to my website, click on Join My Team, and you will be all set to go. I will then have you reach out to me, and I will give you the code for you to be able to use the $50 off for the starter kit that includes the Amaze machine and the Platinum machine. So let's get started. I've already cut part of my cardstock. We're using Watermelon Fusion. It's this really pretty pink. And you can see on my card, I've embossed it with some really pretty dots. They're called Yummy Dots. And it is a die cutting folder, and you can see it's got the die cuts in here. The raised images for those circles. And then I also used our rectangle die that has the perforation to it. Now I could have been lazy and had cut this whole piece out with the whole, with putting the dots on there, the perforations on there, and the die that cuts out the square, but I just used my scissors. It's a simple layer. It's 4 by 5 1/4. All right, so let's get started with that. What I'm going to do first is we're going to run it through the Platinum machine by using our die, our embossing folder. I'm going to just set this in here, line it up so my dots are not so wonky, and I'm just going to close it like that. Very simple to do. I'm going to get my machine up here. Pardon me, it's bigger than the camera. So I'm just going to stick it up here. If you need any instructions on how to do this, just email me. It's a very easy machine to use. All right, this is the Journey Platinum. I'm going to get my plates out. It comes with a magnetic plate, 2 cutting plates, which we don't need right now, and then the one for the folders. So you can see it tells you right here what to do. So if I have a folder, I need a cutting plate. Let's see, I need a cutting plate and the embossing mat and then the embossing folder. All right, so what I'm going to do is put my embossing folder down first. I'm going to put my rubber mat down on top of that because that gives it the best impression. And then I'm going to put my cutting plate on top of that. And I know you can't really see so well in the video, but again, just reach out to me, info@krisstamp.com, and I'd be happy to help you use this machine. So I'm just going to run it through and cut this, get this going. Something's caught on all the block is caught underneath there. Get this going through you. Now, I like to go forward and backwards. This way I know I'm about to get a beautiful image on my card. You can see I've taken that off of there. I'm going to remove it from the folder, and you can see what a pretty deep embossed image I got. Look at how nice those circles are. They're nice and deep. You can see on the back of the card how nice and deep they are. It gives a really nice impression. So in order to get the perforations on the side, I'm going to need to have my rectangle die. Where did I put that? I put it somewhere. Alright, so now I'm going to take that piece of paper and I'm going to line the perforations up against that so that I get the perforated dots along my edges, which just makes this card pop. So I'm going to run that really quick through my die cutting machine again, and I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. Hold on. Going through the machine once, and again, I like to run it through twice, just so I know I've got that good impression. It also helps get the perforation shads out of the way so that they're not in getting caught up into this piece. So let me move my machine out of the way here so you can see me again. Alright, so as you can see, my camera needs to focus here. Alright, as you can see, cut the die cutting machine out of there. And we're going to have, this could be great. Alright, and you can see that the perforations have gone through to the other side. I like to recommend that you take your fingers along the edge here, and you can see all those shads popping off of there. That gives it a deep impression. It gets all those extra little pieces out, as you can see on my paper here. I'm just going to brush them on the floor. A little fairy will come along and vacuum them up, I'm sure. Alright, so I'm just going to make sure that all my perforations are through there. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our bloom tool. Now this bloom tool is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It comes with many, many pieces. It comes with pieces that, it's got an embossing, it's got the dental tool, it's got the brush so you can brush out all those pieces out of your die, and it's got this little spatula, which is my favorite piece. What you're going to do is take that bloom tool and you are going to put it down here, and you're just going to run it out. See that popping? That assures that it's coming off the paper all in one swoop without you ripping anything. And you can see our awesome image here with it die cut it. And you can see that on the card that I showed earlier, and how it makes that card pop. All right, some pieces away. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we need to build the base of the Alright, so the next thing we need to do is die cut the circles. I've already done that. No sense boring you with my machine that blocks half the video. You can see I've lined up my circle to cut the die out, and I've also used the perforations. So you can see on the little one, it just pops out. There's no worry that it shifted a little bit. I should have used a little bit of removable adhesive, but this part's going to hide under the button, so it actually is going to look fine. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to make sure all my little shads are out of there. I'm going to take my bloom tool, and I'm going to pop these circles right off. All right. I'm going to pop them right off of here. You can hear that nice little popping sound. And that's how I know all my perforations went through. Alright, same thing with the larger one. You can see that that piece is cut out the circle. Alright, and then the same thing. I'm going to make sure my shads are well, out of there, so I get the nice perforation holes. There we go. Get that last one out of there. If you miss a shad or two, so the hole is covered up with the paper, all you have to do is take the piece of the bloom tool that's got the poker, which I call the dental tool, and you just poke that little piece right out of there. Okay, so I have my 2 circles done. So now I'm taking that scrap paper of what I've used, all right, and I'm going to stamp the bird on there. So now the bird I'm going to ink up with black licorice ink. Our inks are phenomenal. They're a cross between a craft ink and a pigment ink. They're called Fusion. And what makes that is a really nice impression when you stamp. So let me just ink this up for you here. Get it well inked. And then I'm just going to bring my bird over here, and I'm going to put that on there, and I have a beautiful image of this bird. All right. Now I'm going to need to cut this bird again out with my die cutting machine, and you can just see all I have to do is lay this on here, and it'll cut it out. So I'm just going to pause the video for a second. Again, no sense you watching me do that. It's very simple to use. And again, just have to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to spend some time with you on how to do this. Hold, please. All right, so you can see I've used my die cutting machine and my 2 plates to die cut this cute little flamingo bird. And I'm going to take them all off of here. And again, you can just pull this right off, and this will just pop right out of here. Now you're thinking to yourself, sure, I can color this. That's not a problem. But I liked paper piece. It reminds me of doing paper dolls when I was a little girl. So what I'm going to do, since I have my bird already on the stamp, I'm going to need to stamp it on this really pretty decorative paper, which is part of our mini catalog this month, which ends March 31st. And this one is called Excellent Prints. And you can see it's a 6x6 double-sided sheet. And in that double-sided sheet, you get six different designs, and you get 4 sheets of each double-sided. And you can see, if I can flip through here slowly for you, you can see how pretty this paper is. I mean, it just goes to everybody's taste. If you're a scrapbooker, these are great background papers. Look at the cute little bunnies. It's a great background paper, and it's a really good buy. And again, it's just available till March 31st. And then, of course, we'll probably have more in the other new catalogs that get released. I'm also going to use, part of this bird has the black stripes here. That's from the same catalog. But this one is the Valentine's Day 6x6. And you can say, well, Valentine's Day is in 14 days. What am I going to use a pack of paper for? You don't need to use it just for Valentine's Day. It's got so many functions. As a scrapbooker, as well as, since I'm a scrapbooker, we scrap Valentine's Day year round. Whenever we get to those pictures, that's when we scrap it. But as a stamper, you might be like, I don't need Valentine's Day. This has so many other uses. There's just so many pretty papers in here that you can use. There's stripes, and there's hearts, and there's candy gumdrops, which can be used for Easter. You have, the black stripes, which we're using, and then you have the X's and O's, which can be at any point, and then cute little teepee guys, and so forth. This one's one of my favorites. You are amazing, brilliant, remarkable, and loved. And let me tell you, you are. We all are. So that's that. That also can be found in the mini catalog until March 31st. All right, so what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to stamp the part of the bird so I can cut him out. And I'm also going to need to stamp the wing on our watermelon fusion. You can see this is just a piece of scrap paper. It's an excellent way to reuse your scraps. And then here, same thing. This is a leftover from a card I made, this little piece, and I'm going to try my best not to waste any of it. All right, so I'm just going to bring a piece of black cardstock out here so I can stamp off and it doesn't stamp on my white paper. All right, so I'm going to, if I had grid paper, I have to order some more. I've gone through them through my classes. So once I get grid paper, I won't mind it being stamped on. But this is a great piece of white 12x12, and I don't want to ruin it. So all I need is the bird piece. So all I'm going to do is just stamp the pieces of the bird. And then on here, all I need is the wing. So I'm just going to position it so that I have the wing. All right, and that's all there is to that. All right, so we put this stamp away. Let me close up my ink pad here. All right, since I have my inks out, I'm going to stamp on here the tickled pink. All right, so I'm just going to ink up my tickled pink stain. And I'm just going to ink that up, make sure it's lined up on my block. I love our blocks because they have a grid. Just be careful when you stamp on them that the flower side is facing you, so you don't get any ink in these embedded ink, grids. This, you want to use the smooth side so you don't get any inks in that. All right. So I'm just going to line this up here. All right. So I'm just going to ink up my tickled pink, and I'm just going to line this up here. And I want to have those circles, the mistake circled there, right at the top there. So we just hit tickled pink right here in the center, and look how beautiful our stamp sets stamp. They're red rubber, etched red rubber, and they come with a detailed sticker on the back, which is called indexing. And what's nice about this, it doesn't have a sticker you have to peel off and put on, so it doesn't roll up the rubber. It comes that way already for you. You don't have to do any work towards that. All right, so now I've got my tickled pink, I've got my white circle that I need here, and I've got my little bird. All right, so now we can start putting the pieces together. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I need to do is what we call fussy cutting. I need to cut this bird out. Now I'm going to cut it on video, but I promise I will fast forward it so you don't have to watch me sit here and watch me cut this out. I like to make the scissors work for me, so I turn the paper and hold the scissors still. It's the best way to fussy cut. And you also want to leave yourself with a little edge so that it lines up and covers up the other edge of the bird. So you don't want to cut the black edges off. You want to make sure those black edges are on. So now I'm going to fast forward for you onto our flamingo. So we're going to need to glue this on here. Okay, so we have this wonderful Journey craft glue. It's one of the best I've used in the market. It doesn't clog. It dispenses really nice, and a little bit goes a long way. So all I'm going to do is, on the reverse side, is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along my bird here. And then I'm just going to take that bird and I'm going to set him right on top and line these lines up. And the nice part about the glue, instead of, a really thick adhesive, is you have time to move it around. Our Journey white liner tape wouldn't give you this wiggle room. All right, so I've lined him up pretty easy, right? Okay. So now we need to color his legs in. And in order to color his legs in, I like to use a watercolor type of look. And what we have is these wonderful things called splashes. This one happens to be watermelon fusion. Again, I will put all those product numbers on the video for you. All right, so all you're going to do is you're going to open it up. Make sure you're over a piece of scrap paper, just in case you splash. And you're just going to take it and you're just going to drop a little bit on your block. Now make sure when you use your block that you're using the side that the grids are not on, because otherwise this ink will get inside those grids and you'll have a tough time cleaning it out. It will come off. It's just be tougher to clean. All right, and I'm just going to take our watercolor brushes. You can see it's called a blending brush. I'm using the small, and in this tube I've only put plain tap water. All right, I'm just going to put a little on my block so I have a little bit to work with. I'm going to pick up some watermelon fusion, and all I'm going to do is color these birds' legs in. All right, and that just gives him a nice little pop. It's also got a little bit of iridescence, and when it dries, it'll dry a little lighter. All right. You can go a little lighter if you want as well. All you have to do is add a little bit of more water to it and you'll get a lighter color. I prefer the darker. I think it's really pretty. I think it's a bright, bold color. And again, I'm just going to color him in. All right, and you can see he's just colored in here. Go back over, okay? And it's all right to go outside the lines because you do kind of want that watercolor look. All right, so let me just get this over here a little bit here. All right, clean off my brush. Okay, so the next step we need to do is we need to, what we call silk our circles. That's what gives this white circle not to be so plain. Right? These are our silks. They are so yummy. They come in like a little nail polish bottle. And the reason they come in that bottle is they have beads in it. And what you need to do is you really need to shake this up. You need to make sure you get all that yummy goodness on the bottom there, because then you get that real pretty sparkle. Our silks are fun to use. They're fun to paint with. They're fun to just splash all over the place. All right. This is a little thicker medium. There's the Journey Splash, which is a little wetter. This one's a little thicker. Okay, so now I've successfully shook that up a lot. Now all I'm going to do is take my thing and I'm just going to tap. And you can see I get these really pretty, yummy little dots all over the back of the circle. That just adds more dimension to those circles that I've already made. And this, you know, it's got a lot of circles between the folder and the circles that are on there. This just gives it that really quick, cool looking look to it. You can see I should have covered my white scrap paper up here. I wanted to reuse it, but oh well, I'll use the other side. All right, I'm just going to give it a second to dry. All right, now we're ready for assembly. So what I did is, I like to save paper. I hate wasting paper. I like to reuse it. I also like to teach classes, and sometimes I have many people in my classes, and you know, I just need to save paper and not, you know, have a lot of cost for my customers. All right, so what I did is I took this the black stripes that I was using. I made sure my stripes were going the right direction, and I cut it 4 inches by 3/4. I did 2 of those because what I want to do is I want them to become a border. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Journey white liner tape, and I'm just going to run along here. And yes, this piece is bigger, and I did that on purpose because it's easier to line up the black stripes if your paper's a little bit bigger. You can get your hands on that, and you can see I'm going to have to cut that off anyways because I got splash on that. Should have waited till my... Alright, so I'm just going to take my paper. I had to retrim it because I got splash all over that piece. Alright, so I'm just going to put this on here. Now, no worries about it being extra on there because this is going to go on the card. So I just want to line up these little stripes, and I like to do it the front ways facing forward so I can get my stripes straight. So I'm just going to line that up on there, and then I'm going to slide this piece under here, and I'm going to line it up on here. And again, it's a little bigger because I want to be able to line this up, and then I'll just trim this excess off. Or you don't have to. I mean, it depends on how type A you are. I'm definitely type A, so I need to trim it off a little bit. And so you can just give it a little trim, and then you don't have any overhang of anything. All right, we'll take our card front here. I like to have this big circle at the bottom. I just think it gives it a nice little pop. And I'm just going to line this up on here. Just make sure I have adhesive on there, and I'm just going to line this up on here. All right. All right, so now this is based on a white cardstock base. This white cardstock is what we call the hot dog cut. The hot dog cut is just cutting it up and down so that your paper is 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. All right, and when you fold that in half, you get a card base that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. What you're going to do is you're just going to take the bloom crease tool, and you're going to make sure you have a nice crease at the top. All right, and then that's your card base that you're going to use, and we're going to pop this right up on here. So we're just going to take our adhesive again and run it down through the sides here. A little goes a long way. I like to give it a little bit more adhesive when I do folders because it's so dense that I want to make sure the cardstock sticks. Normally I would just do the 4 corners and a little in the center. And there we go, we got that all lined up on there. And the next piece we're going to do is we're going to need to use our foam dots. We're going to use medium and small foam squares. All right, these are wonderful. You get 300 pieces in the, or 308 in the small and 126 in the medium, and you can see they are just amazingly nice to use. So I'm going to take my circle, which is our first piece here, and I am going to take that and I'm going to put it on the back side of where I have the silks. All right, I forgot to tell you about this really yummy string that we're going to be using, this twine. So we're going to cut this, you know, fairly long. This stuff comes in such a large amount that you don't have to worry if you've got too much going on. And what I'm going to do is I just kind of peeled this back a little bit, so you can do this before you mount your card down. I apologize. And I just wrap this string around here 3 times just to give it a nice little depth. Left a little tail at the end so I could tie my button on there, and then that adhesive will hold that right down. So I'm just going to push down on the adhesive again and let it sit on there and let it hold down my card. All right, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to smush them together anyways. And then I like to bring this around on this side so I don't forget. All right, because I'm going to take my foam dot squares that I have put on the back here. I've removed a little backing, and you can see it just gives it such a doubt. Richard, he's the president and co-founder of Fun Stampers Journey. He always says, when in doubt, pop it out. And I have to agree with that statement because that just gives it that extra dimension. Just makes your card look wow. All right, so now we need to do is we need to take a button, and I have the pink one sitting here somewhere. Somewhere I have the pink button. Again, buttons get lost very easily. Let me pause the video while I find the button. All right, I found my button. I always say my stamp room is full of a lot of gremlins. So all I'm going to do is feed this button through the top holes here, and you're going to get the little holes and the little piece of string in there. All right, and then I'm just going to go to the opposite corner of that button, and I'm going to just put this button through here. This is our bubble gum string, and again, I will put all the SKU numbers for you in the comments so you know. And all I did was just let that fall down on top of the paper. I didn't use any adhesive. I just let the string or the thread hold this in place. It was a very simple way to get this button to stay on there without having to use any adhesive. All right, so I'm just going to tie this and tie it in a knot so that way it does not slide off. All right, and then depending how long you like your tails, you're just going to give it a little trim here. All right, okay. So now this next one needs to go up here that we stamped tickled pink on that, and that's going to slide right underneath that button. And I used the large foam squares on, or medium foam squares on that again. And I'm just going to take this off of here, pull these little pads off of here, and I'm just going to slide that under the button, and I'm going to pop that on there. All right. So now we have our flamingo. He's the last one left to go on. Look how cute those legs are with them dried. He's still missing his little wing, but I haven't forgotten it. It's still going to go on. We need to use a small foam dot to get that on the back of this flamingo here. Let me find those ones. There they are. Here's our small foam dots. Aren't they cute? They're so tiny. I love them. And I'm just going to put one. No need for more. If you want, you can put two on there, but there really is no need for that. Put it on the back of there, and I'm just going to line this up on top of my flamingo, and you can see that gives him his little back, his little wing, so to speak. It should probably work upside down for you guys. So there you are. And then I'm just going to take the foam squares again, and I'm just going to put, I'm going to be generous this time because this guy does have little legs and little pieces that can get, you know, broken off if you're not careful. So I like to put a couple on here. I think I've used 5 in all. What I used 6, sorry. And I'm just going to pull these little backings off of here. Again, very simple. It's a very inexpensive adhesive, and you get quite a few, so you don't have to worry about, you know, them all being used up. And then all I did was take this little bird and lined him up in my circle and stuck him right down here on the card. Now, isn't he cute? And that is all I did. I want to thank you all for putting up with my very first video and the little blips and blops that I've done. I enjoy doing this for a living. I love to be a Fun Stampers Journey coach. And if you want more information, you can visit my website at www.krisstamp.com. Kris is spelled with a K. I know my mother had to be different. All right. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. Bye.